Ethereum is getting ready to pump to the upside. $3,000, $4,000 over the coming weeks and months is highly probable. I've been waiting for this setup for quite a while now, and this patience, we now want to really pounce on this opportunity to buy low and potentially sell high based on a very high probability. So if you're ready to rock and roll, let's dive straight into Ethereum. So I did a video on Ethereum on the 6th of October. And if you watch that video on the 6th of October, what we said was we're likely to get one more move down to the downside down here to complete what's called this ABC correction. Now, the key thing to understand is markets move in fives and threes, and it's buying and selling behavior. It's psychology, fear and greed playing out. And what we've had over the last few days is that last part of the movement coming right the way down. And this is a wave two. Now, wave twos are a correction and they retest wave ones. What does that mean in English? It retests this low. The reason why this is important to us is it identifies that we are likely to be at a low. And I'm going to show you some key things today that gives it a bit more confidence, which indicates that we're likely to see a nice rise going above this high and moving aggressively towards $3,000. But is right now the correct time to buy, or are there a few other things that we should wait for to really, really optimize this particular opportunity? Well, that's what we're going to dive into next. By the way, if you want to learn how to read the markets like this so you can make more money, buy low, sell high, I've actually created my masterclass. It's the 4 secrets you must know to make money trading the markets. And we're going to cover it today. It's free, it's in the description, but don't take it just yet because I want to cover some details in Ethereum. But the methodology on what we're going to apply, a lot of it is covered, or in fact, more of it is covered in the masterclass itself. So what we're going to do with Ethereum is this is a daily chart, right? So it's like the macro time frame or intermediate time frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into a bit of intricate detail down here. Down here, there's a few key things that we want to really pay attention to that we want to wait for, because depending if you're trading or buying and holding Ethereum, if you're just buying and holding, so anything in this range is probably going to be a good buy and hold in terms of for weeks and months and maybe even years. And this is the low that's likely to last for quite a while and higher highs. But remember, it's only ever probabilities and never certainties. So what we're going to do now is going to dive into a 1 hour chart. I keep the 1 hour chart in the bottom right hand corner. So I'm just going to open this up here. And what I want to pay attention to in particular is the last day, right? We've had this nice move to the upside, And there's a few important things about this move to the upside. And I just want to compare it to this last part. The key thing that I want to get across why we're confident, again, we can never have guarantees, right? But it's the closest thing you're ever going to get to a crystal ball. We're confident that this low is very likely to hold. Why? Well, one of the reasons is this movement to the upside is bigger than any former move in this sequence. So this was a move to the upside, it was a correction. This was a move to the upside, it was a correction. Look at the degree of how much more impulsive it is. That just shows a lot of aggressive buying behavior, which is a positive for Ethereum. So that's the first clue. The second clue is these swing highs. Over here, the market's been going lower and lower and lower. This is a pretty significant swing high, and so is this one over here. And both have been exceeded. This one's been exceeded by quite a bit. So that again gives us a bit more confidence, or a lot more confidence, that this low will hold. So let's just finish up on what am I personally going to wait for before going long on Ethereum. In terms of trading, right? In trading, the ideal scenario, if it occurs, right? If it occurs, is a pullback. What I mean by that is a correction. So this is like a sprint. The market's done a sprint. And what I would like to see is a correction. Normally you see some aggressive buying behavior and then some type of correction. And in fact, let me show it to you like this, because this will make perfect sense to you. And it'll just change the way you look at the markets. On a macro degree, the market did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aggressive move. And then what did we get? We got this nice big 3-wave correction. Yeah, you see that? Okay, well, we are looking for the exact same thing, but on a lower degree time frame. So we've had this aggressive move to the upside, and if we look at it in intricate detail, it looks like a nice wave of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like a nice 5-wave impulsive move to the upside. Let's just make it a bit smaller so we can just see it a bit clearer over here. We'll leave it in blue. I'll draw the lines like this. So you can see a nice 5-wave move. And more often than not, after a 5-wave move, you'll get a 3-wave correction. And it's like magic. It's just the way psychology plays out, buying and selling behavior. And that's what we're looking at. So what would I like to see? Well, more often than not, the minimum retracement is something called a 50%. I'm going to go into a bit of detail here, but you can kind of just take the end numbers. How long does it usually take? There's a particular Fibonacci time ratio we want to look at. Let me just do that again. Fibonacci time ratio. And I would like to see, the ideal would be a clean A, B, C style correction. And if we get this, then I'm looking to go long, right? ABC style correction. Doesn't mean it's going to occur, but if it does, this will be the ideal setup. And then I'm looking to go long. And let's just finish up on the trade expectations. By the way, in the 4 Secrets Trading Masterclass, I cover trade expectations and how you can measure psychology, pattern position. There's a lot in there, but it's pretty punchy and it's high level, so you can really get a grasp on the psychology of markets. So that's free and it's in the description below. So let's just now finish up on the daily chart. I'm just going to jump back into the daily chart. I'm just going to finish up on expectations. Expectations is more often than not when you see a clear wave 1, a wave 2, the next move to the upside is something called 1.618 of wave 1. So we're talking about around a $2,500, $3,000 Ethereum. So if you have managed to get a nice tight entry, then you can have minimal capital exposure and maximize your profit potential. So there you have it. Ethereum, what do you think? Are you feeling bullish? I want to really leverage this because sometimes you wait days, weeks, sometimes even months for an ideal setup. And then when it comes, you want to identify it, enter it, ride the trend, and even if it pumps, we don't want to just exit straight away. Maybe become risk-free. There's a certain methodology that I use, but then allow the trend to unfold. And ideally, we want to see this next wave to break down to a 5-wave sequence. So there you have it. Let's finish today on a quote from my book. Let's go with chapter 5 today. Let's go with, I believe it's Leonardo da Vinci from chapter 5. I'll start every chapter with a quote, because quotes, they're like wisdom, right? Especially when it's people like Leonardo da Vinci. He says, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Now, look, it's a fact that 90 to 95% of people that actually trade the market end up losing money medium to long term. A lot of people get wiped out in the first 6 to 12 months, and then long term, most don't succeed. And one of the main reasons is people don't have a plan, and they are too reliant upon emotions, and it's too random. We want to have a strategy in play where we massively increase the edge in our favor, so the probability of us winning goes up, where we become the casino, and then execute that plan on a consistent basis in a mechanical, business-like manner. And with Ethereum, what we're looking at is really the 4 secrets. And one of them is we've had this nice pullback of an ABC at a key Fibonacci price ratio that tells us that the market is likely to be ending a correction, high probability, and then we're looking for a trend reversal. So we've had something called the overbalance of price, so this big move to the upside. On a micro degree, it's significant because it gives us an early clue. We'll wait for another pullback. If it occurs, and then pounce, and then ride that trend. And the trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. So let's see and keep a close eye on how Ethereum pans out.